Truth Frequency Radio Network. KTFRN. Worldwide.
Welcome, Shadowland Voyagers. In the spirit of sovereignty and self-empowerment, we invite you to journey with us into the Shadowland. Let's rediscover, reclaim, and integrate the fragmented aspects of our individual and collectively held consciousness. Realize true freedom and restore authentic expression. Could it be the only way out is through the Shadowland?
Good evening. This is Sienna Leah, and you are at Shadowland Voyagers. Tonight I am very excited and honored to have as our guest George Kavassilas. George Kavassilas is an author, acclaimed speaker, and regular guest on the alternative radio circuit. George has had an extraordinary life with many hundreds of interactions with both benevolent and malevolent beings from many different levels of reality, both on and off world. In 2003, he took a journey with his conscious spirit through the dimensions of our universe, and he rediscovered what life in this universe is all about. He was able to once again remember who we all are, where we come from, and where we're headed. Having this knowledge with the world in order to assist humanity in reclaiming our sovereignty. So, again, I am so honored to have George with us. This is very, very exciting, and I want to bring on my co-hosts, Christina Grant. Christina, are you there?
I am here. Good evening, everybody.
And Elizabeth Hansen.
Hi, Sia. Good evening. Hi, everybody.
Yes, this has been quite the groundbreaking day. I want everybody and George to know that the first time in 3 years my house nearly burnt down. We lost the internet connection multiple times. The cables to my house melted. Nobody understands what force could possibly have done this. And I was told that there must be some gigantic force pulling energy through my field. So I know tonight's going to be a very groundbreaking show, and I'm glad that I'm still in 3D, I guess, in order to have this experience with y'all.
Wow, Sienna, I'm so sorry that happened. I'm glad you're okay.
No, I thought it was auspicious, you know.
Yeah.
You know that when things like that happen, you're on the right track, right?
Yeah, it's definitely auspicious.
So we're going to be bringing George on in a minute or two. I have to say that George has impacted my life hugely over the last several years, and all of us really. Christina, you've worked intimately with George as well, haven't you?
Yeah. Let's see. I started working with Our Journey Home, volunteered back in, February of 2011, so nearly 2 years, and it has been just an honor to play this role, really enjoyable, and just to get to know them behind the scenes. They are really great people. So if anyone ever doubts their character, I can attest that very kind, very real, authentic behind the scenes, just as much as in front of everybody in this here.
Yeah, that's so important. We'll be right back with George and the first half hour, Christina.
Welcome back to Shadowland Voyagers. We're here tonight with George Kavassilas. George, welcome.
Hello. Hello, Christina. Thank you so much for having me on. It's truly an honour to be invited into your circle of women. I really, truly appreciate that.
Oh, thank you. It's an honor and a joy to have you here. So I have to say, you have done an amazing job in the last 3 years to help get humanity prepared for the shift that we are currently in. And, you really did the hard work of clearing the way for us to come forward and even have this show and share our voices. And we just really, really want to thank you for that.
Oh, wow. Thank you. I don't know what to say there. Besides, I just feel like there's just so many of us that are out there, and we really need to do this. It's our responsibility to deal with this masculine energy and create a safe environment for women to have a voice again.
Yeah, well, we are definitely all in this together. It seems to be the running mantra lately. So, I'm wondering if you could share with our listeners what made you come forward initially and share your experiences and deep wisdom with humanity. I mean, why become proactive in this movement and just not be an observer or continue living in you had like a quiet life, you were happy, you were sort of on the outskirts of the matrix. What made you come forward?
Yeah, that's a very significant question that you've asked, because a lot of people who are feeling that same way at the moment, we go through this process of really being in a lot of pain, living in the matrix, and then we do our best to remove ourselves from it, to transcend and move beyond the trappings of the matrix. And I was succeeding quite well at doing that. I did not have a credit card. I still don't have a credit card, but I didn't have a mobile phone. I didn't have a computer. I was growing my own veggies. I was, just living quietly, doing the best I could with what I had. And I was really far removed and detached from society in such a big way. And I really got to take a good look at myself and my life and contemplate all the experiences that I had, and contemplated what purpose they served. Was it just for me to learn and grow, or was there another element to it? What wisdom do I have that has value and worth for others as well? I found myself sharing some experiences with people locally, and found that it was really helping people, a lot of people. But not only that, I always had this driving passion from a young age to seek out the truth. So there's that truth seeker aspect that we all have, Christina, and that everybody, I'm sure, listening has as well. And I really wanted to reignite that passion, and I did. And I found out that I have an obligation and a responsibility. I discovered what my great work was, and that is to share the knowledge and the wisdom that I've gained from my experiences, and in this lifetime, and of course in every other lifetime and every other reality that I experienced as well on my journey in this universe, to draw on as much of that knowledge that I can and begin to share that, because I knew that once we do have these other perspectives that are beyond the curriculum of the system, of the matrix system, then we do expand in our awareness, and it creates empowerment.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of ways that people can participate in this change. It doesn't have to be, in the public arena, having a radio show. But it seems the point is just not to sit back and wait for ascension or whatever you want to call this shift of consciousness to happen to you. It's something that you do together. It's something you do, with life. And is that what you mean by taking responsibility from this level of reality?
Yeah, well, life is a co-creative process, see. It's if people are just going to sit back and think it's all just going to happen automatically, they're grossly mistaken. They are. And I'm not saying this to put guilt into people. I'm just being real. We need to realize that it is a co-creative process, and it's important to meditate, sure, but it's also important to meditate not just with your heart and your mind, but also with your hands. Make that manifest into reality. So it's a participatory process, and the more we begin to realise that is, you've obviously realised that, and you're finding your great work, and not everybody has to do what we're doing. Each people do it in different ways. Some people do it through art, other people will do it through song, other people will do it by being a cleaner in a building or just cleaning up the local park. And people, what needs to be done to have a better world. You name it, just you can think the most obscure way of going about it. There's people out there that are doing it, and they're not just hiding in a cave, and they're out there and they're making a difference, and in whichever way is right for them. And so I urge everybody to really think about that, to contemplate where they're at, and if they feel like they have something to contribute, go out and do that. Don't be afraid. Don't let fear hold you back from being your authentic self and enabling you to be a co-creator in changing this world, because it is up to us to do it.
Absolutely. So when you say just be, it's not just be and do nothing. It's just be you and
No.
do what feels right and participate and be proactive.
Yeah, to just be means to be authentic. Just be doesn't mean just to sit idle. That's not. Yeah, that's maybe someone's ideological perception of that statement, but it's not the intention of the expression of that statement. It truly means to live from your authentic self and to nurture your natural talents and to go out and live and be. It's like it's exactly what Shakespeare was talking about: to be or not to be. Whether 'tis nobler to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, and I've chosen to suffer those slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, because being authentic in this world is a no-no. And when we start being authentic in this world, it rubs a lot of people up the wrong way, because they got used to us living a lie. We were living a false version of who and what we are. So when we start coming from the heart and we say to people, the world is not what you think it is. There's a lot more to this world than you realise, and we share a few home truths. It rocks their world, makes them uncomfortable, but at least you're being authentic. And we're finding ways to better do that as well. In the beginning, if you look at my journey, I've been had my warrior archetype quite strongly, and I've been expressing that, and I'm still working my way through that, but I'm bringing it in check in a more balanced way. So I'm able to express things without being too abrupt and too in your face about things. And sometimes we do need to wield that sword every now and then, but I'm not wielding it as much as I used to. I'm learning how to use it in a much more balanced way. So there's that aspect to it too. We need to find a way to express ourselves without being too hard-headed about things, if you know it.
Oh, yeah. I'm working on that myself. It's definitely taken a tremendous amount of conscious awareness in my journey to identify certain ways of being and the belief systems and programs and traumas, all those things that sort of prevented me from being my true authentic self. I mean, there's definitely was a lot of doing involved with being in my journey as well. So, yeah, I definitely know what you mean there.
Yeah, a lot of doing involved with being. That is excellent.
It's sort of it kind of goes back and forth too, where it's like I reach a certain level within myself and I'm like, yeah, I'm being myself and it's really comfortable, and then I kind of hit a ceiling within myself, and I have to break through a new level, and that's sort of where the inner work comes in. I have to take a look at that. I have to own, my shit and do something with it. And then once I look at it, I can integrate it, and then I'm back to kind of being again. And it's just this process, but it gets easier and easier to do, I find, the more you clear away.
I gotta agree with you, Christina. It's we're going to new levels within ourselves constantly, and I'm no exception to the rule. Everybody's part of this process, and I've found lately that I've really had to address an aspect of me which has had a flavour of even arrogance to it. And I'm not regretting any ways that I've expressed myself. It's about learning from the situation, and I found that there were times when I needed to be really bold. It's kind of like the Matrix is pretty stiff energy. It's quite arrogant itself. It's very hard-headed. And sometimes, if you've got to shift a lot of weight, sometimes you need to use a bit of force. So, in my expressions in the past, I've had to really wield that sword and be bold and be the warrior and be like a bit of an icebreaker. The icebreaker ships that go through and they've got that big hard nose at the front of the ship and they're smashing through the ice. And I needed to behave in a way that was going to be really stern and firm and uncompromising, because I wanted to put a crack in the matrix, and I reckon I've done that. And there's a lot of people who are also putting cracks in the matrix, and it's a concerted effort, even though we're not consciously coordinating things down here on this level. From another level, we're certainly coordinated, and I can assure you we are putting cracks in the matrix everywhere, and the people that are now riding this new wave of consciousness that is coming through, that is this new wave now that is beyond the new age paradigm. We're breaking new territory, and we're a bunch of indigos that have established ourselves for a few decades now in this reality. It's like we're now stepping up and saying, we're here and we're ready, and we're stepping up to the plate, and it's no longer just sitting back and just going through the motions. We are becoming proactive, and we did come to this planet to make a difference. So we're part of the first wave of indigos, and we're riding this new wave of consciousness, and it feels really, really good and really exciting, because we do know deep down inside we have what it takes to transform this reality.
Yeah, it does feel really good, and it really does feel like we are taking responsibility. That's how I feel in my life. It's like I'm finally, it's not that I'm in the driver's seat with my ego. I'm in alignment with this part of myself that's in alignment with life, and I can feel it, and I can sense, like doing this radio show, my ego does not want to be doing this. I can tell you that. But this deeper part of me is like, no, this is the next place you need to go. And it's like, okay, so I'm getting on board. I'm getting on my surfboard and riding that wave. And it is really fun because it feels right.
It does, doesn't it? And it's very rewarding. I mean, we're just being authentic. We're being our who and what we are. We came to this world to do this. And everything up until this moment was preparation, was training, was preparing. And now we get to be it and do it. And we're so more effective. So far more effective than we were before, with this newfound level of wisdom. And we're digging into new levels of depths of wisdom all the time. There's no, like you said, you might feel like you've reached a plateau, but that's really temporary, very short period of time, and then the next level comes along. And what's really about it is we're on this path of self-discovery, you could say, and we're reaching into levels of wisdom that even are surprising us. So when we're confronted with scenarios, with family, with people in our lives we've had difficulties with, now all of a sudden we're dealing with them so much better, and they don't bother us like they used to. Are you finding that?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You talked about this before, it's responding with ability. And that is what happens. You get to this place where you just see what's happening. You realize a person is reacting or however they're being, and you can just respond. And then I find if I do find myself reacting, well, that's something I need to take a look at and see where's that coming from? Why am I having a trigger here? But definitely more and more as I do this, just being consciously aware of myself and my interactions with life becomes more peaceful, more settled, and all of my relationships have definitely improved. It's really nice.
But that's proof. When we change our inner world, our outer world changes. That's the way it is. That's the flow of energy. It comes from within us and flows outward. And that's why I say get our inner light and shine that out into the world, and be so proud to be you without the pride. We should be very confident to be who we need to be, and don't doubt ourselves. We go into this place of trust, and then we have this incredible ability to truly achieve greatness, because I never thought I'd be doing the things I'm doing. Like, I knew I was going to, but the actual detail of it, I had no idea. And, getting up and speaking in front of a lot of people and doing radio programs such as this one, and for little George, I was terrified of doing that. But there's a part of me that just, totally overrides little George, and big George steps in and goes, this is what we're meant to be doing. So, get with the program or, you're going to have issues. And we do need to, I suppose, our little earthly personalities that have been living in the matrix for so long, it does take a while for us to come to terms with this greater aspect of ourselves that's really anchoring itself in here now. We're becoming more present, and that's what it means too. It's amazing when you see all these little sayings and all these different modalities, how they're all saying the same thing really. And so to be, like Shakespeare said, to be or not to be is the same as saying just be, and it's the same as saying let's be authentic, and it's the same as saying be more present. It's all the same thing, and we're all just anchoring more of ourselves here into this reality more and more every day, every moment.
Yeah, it takes some getting used to that feeling of there's this part of you that's not in control anymore. And that was the part that you always thought was in control. At least I did. It felt like and then you realize, oh, that part's not actually in control. And then so when you to get to switch to that new way of being, it definitely takes some time, takes some getting used to. But once you get the hang of it, it gets really easy. And then this ability to flow with life, and like you're saying, you become really present, and you're able to switch gears moment to moment, and you kind of stop having these expectations of what you think how things should go and how things should be, because you just realize that you're flowing in the moment, and it's all going to happen and unfold the way it's meant to, and you'll know exactly what you need to do and where you need to go, and it's magical.
It is magical. It is the magic carpet ride, to use another expression of the past. And I tell you what, the more detail of what you just said, because that's a lot of people are saying what you just said, but there's people out there that don't get that, even though it's clear and distinct for us because we understand it. There are people that don't, and what I've found is an example to give of what you're saying there, and what both you and I are discussing here, Christina, is prior to an event, there's kind of like this subtle peace. Because you don't think, oh, is this going to happen? Oh, is that going to happen? Oh, I want it to go this way. Oh, I want it to go that way. Whatever that is, whether you're going to go to a party or you have to attend a wedding or you have to attend an interview or you're going to go shopping, you're going to go to the movies, whatever the event's going to be, you organise the event and you don't place expectations. Oh, it's going to be like this. I'm going to do that. You just let go. And in that moment, you just flow. And this beautiful sensation of life just flowing into its destiny just happens. And then we get into the subject of free will, and that's a big one. Do we have free will? Don't we have free will? Maybe it's both. Maybe we do and we don't. So that's an interesting concept to get into, because when we're living in duality, we kind of get to the understanding that it's both.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Shadowland Voyagers. We had just gone to break, and you had just brought up free will, and that feels hugely important. And I would like to hear more what you have to say about that at this moment.
Yes, Sienna Lee, thank you. I have been contemplating and pondering the concept of free will for a very, very long time. And what is free will? Why do we have it, and why is it times I feel like I don't have it? So I went through this internal journey, a journey within myself to try and understand free will. Some people are very passionate about the fact that we have free will, and other people feel it's a dangerous thing to have. Other people feel that it's the most important thing that we have. And what I discovered within my inner journey was that I do have free will. And then I realized also that I don't have free will. So I've come to understand from a multi-dimensional perspective that yes, I have free will, and no, I don't have free will. That at the level of beingness that has free will is the aspect of me here on this level that when functioning from my personality, egoic personality from within the matrix, I feel that that's the part of me that wants to be in control, and that's the part of me that traditionally has made decisions. And then once I started merging with my greater being, I came to realize that they were decisions I was always going to make because the future has already happened. Now, this can really do people's heads in, and I'm glad about that because that's exactly what it's designed to do, is to move you beyond the mind and into the greater being of who and what we are. So does George have free will? Yeah, when George thinks he's in control, he's got free will. Does George ultimately have free will? Of course not, because my whole life is created from a much greater aspect of me, from beyond the earthly personality or the personality interface, as George. So does the higher self have free will? Yes again, and no, because the higher self is functioning under the auspice of the soul essence. So does the soul essence have free will? Yes and no. I suppose the place where there's total free will is the eternal essence beyond this universe. That's total free will. But the aspect of us that has entered this universe, because I'm going all the way up through all the levels now, is functioning under the auspice of our eternal essence. It's the only label I can give that, really, that comes close. So if that helps people to understand, well, I'm sure it raised a whole array of more questions.
Yes, I don't think anybody's ego is particularly thrilled with that bit of information, George. But it's huge because we don't have free will, and it's time that we stop perhaps wanting it in some ways, because the greater manifestation of our divine essence is so much more fulfilling and juicier and more fun than that anyway. So we need to get over it.
If anyone's in the flow, they're not functioning from free will. So that's the short of it, really. If you feel that you're flowing in your river of life, then you're obviously not using free will because you're in the flow, and that flow is under the guidance and the auspice of your greater being.
Yeah, I'll never forget the time that I had that this experience where the higher self was giving instruction, and the third dimensional ego was saying, "Oh, I knew that," and the higher self was saying, "No, you didn't," and proved it to me. So there's like a little argument going on. Very much humbling. Yeah.
Well, my little ego has a list of questions here that I want to get to, so I'm exerting my egoic free will, but I didn't want to cut you off there, George, but go ahead.
No, go right ahead. Go right ahead.
All right. Well, because we are Shadowland Voyagers here, I wanted to probe into the realm of the dark side a little bit with you tonight, if I may be so bold. And
I love the name Shadowland Voyagers, because anybody who's here on the planet and has journeyed through this epoch and era of time has taken the journey through Shadowland. This is what this whole era and the descent into the Dark Ages through the Middle Ages, and now we're coming out of it through the Renaissance, and now towards the end of the cycle, this has been a journey through Shadowland. So I just want to acknowledge the bravery of everybody who's embarked on this journey.
Yeah, right on, right on. So now my question, my little free will's jumping up and down here, George. I got to ask you my question here. You have at times used the metaphor of the elastic band, that the greater the darkness and limitation one carries, the greater the release into universal light. Do you feel at all resonant with expounding on that at the moment?
Yeah, it's every experience that we have creates wisdom. And that wisdom, everything's energy, so that wisdom is an energetic charge, and that's food for our soul. And it's another portion of wisdom learned in the journey in this universe, and our wisdom, our soul through this journey of projecting all these aspects of us down into the different myriad of domains and realities in the universe, having all these different experiences and all that wisdom going back into the soul and learning and becoming this great universal consciousness that we are just about to achieve is so powerful. The further you venture into the depths of the challenge, of the depths of the restriction, and the paradigms of limited consciousness and awareness, then the greater the learning, the greater the adversity. From adversity we prosper is the basic concept of this universe. It's the basic concept of the energy of light. It's waveform. You express yourself one way, and then from that centered state, you now need to express yourself another way, which perfectly counterbalances the former. So it is dualistic expression, and in that process, there's duality happening in every area and aspect of life. That's why you have a God entity and you have another entity that's pretending to be God. That's why you have, a dark side and a light side, programs of liberation, programs of limitation. It's male, female. It's in every aspect. Do we have free will? Yes, and no, we don't. So it's in every single aspect of life in this universe is this dualistic expression. And the way it's designed to function is that the more you go into a challenge and the greater the adversity, then the greater the learning, therefore the greater the wisdom and the greater the empowerment. And I've taken some journeys into the most furthest reaches of darkness that this universe has to offer. And I know you have too. Everyone who's done that has a unique energetic signature, and we have gained such incredible wisdom of learning, which is allowing us now to achieve mastery of this, for want of a better term. I know it's a loosely thrown around expression, but it is in a way. We're accomplishing our understanding of light, and therefore have gained the right to now create a universe through the construct of light in our own right, independently of this universal creator.
Yes, and George, now I was wondering if you would gift us with a little bit of the down and dirty about your dark side. You have stated in numerous interviews that you have been the greatest light and the worst evildoer and everything in between. I was wondering, in honor of kicking off our relationship here at Shadowland Voyagers, if you'd be open to sharing with us in a little bit more depth about your own dark side, what it was, perhaps what you still wrestle with, how you yourself discovered this aspect of George, and what you did to process and integrate your shadow self. Kind of a big question, but...
It is a big question because you're talking about a universal journey. So I'll give an example, I think is an appropriate example, because it'll help people understand where I come from when I'm sharing the concept of controlling a planetary population, because I've been a cosmic conqueror, for example. And I got the opportunity out there to control insidiously planetary populations and star systems. And when one understands what you need to go through to make that happen, to be more effective at that than just putting forces on the ground, you really need to understand the depth of the reality that people occupy, so you can control that. And that's what's happening here. There's groups that have come here that are controlling our reality from as far inside to it as they can reach, so from the inside out. Now, making that comment, please understand that, the reason why it's occurred is because we've all co-created this, and Mother Earth is a part of that co-creation. So on one level, she's given permission for this to happen. So I just want to clarify the broader understandings of the laws of the universe. Yeah. And so these beings have been asked to come here and allowed to come here, even though in their egoic minds they won't see it that way because they're not in contact with a greater aspect of themselves, although some are, very few are, but most of the cosmic conquerors are not. And when you're in that disconnected place, you're totally self-absorbed and you want nothing more than to control and to be and totally dominate a planetary and star system populations and the people, so you can feed off their energy and feed off their resources. And I remember doing that, and that's how I understand what's going on this planet so well. And you get to the point where you feed and you feed and you feed and you feed and you become empowered and you become enamored with your own glamour and self-serving light. And it's incredible how you turn into this universal monster, basically. And then are confronted one day with the reality of what you have done, because you have an experience that has gotten to the point in your journey in the universe where there's going to be a crack that's going to appear in your enamored glamour and self-serving light. And there was an experience of a very subtle, for me, and gentle being that crossed my path and basically showed me an expression which I hadn't experienced in such a long time. And that got my attention. And from that moment on, and it was an interdimensional experience, and from that moment on, I started questioning what I was doing as a cosmic conqueror. That's the label I'm choosing to use as to what I was doing. And I started questioning, and realizations started to occur. And I basically then covered that up because I wanted to live in denial of the reality of what I was being confronted with. So I got worse, and I got worse, and I got worse until the moment where I basically imploded. I just destroyed myself with my own self-serving light and the lust and the thirst for power and control. It got to the point where I just destroyed myself and really finally realized what I was doing. The detail of which I haven't got full detail of, but I know I was with a group of beings in a reality who, and I was in charge of a lot of very powerful races. I had a lot under me. And to this day, a lot of them feel that I'm a traitor now. So I'm having to deal with all those energies of interdimensional races and star systems who now see me as a traitor. So I've got a lot going on in my life, as you can imagine. So
yes,
it was very difficult to walk away from all that and become who I needed to become through this cosmic drama. But it's well worth it because I'll do it all again, and I'll do it over and over again because it's made me who I am today. And we need to use what we have learned from our horrendous sides of life, which we all have, and use it for the common good rather than, once we've finished feeding and we've finished gorging ourselves on the energy of others, because it is gluttony. And it is gorging and it is blind. I can't find the word at the moment. Once you get past that, begin to realize that there's another way.
It seems that at the moment there's a mass of cognitive dissonant trance slaves who refuse to acknowledge this aspect as it's operating to a greater or lesser degree in most people, in my opinion. And is it this seems to be the great sort of turd in the road of the awakening, is that we're so addicted to the light and to positive self-image and to seeing ourselves as good people and decent people and patriotic people, and we're so phobic to explore this aspect. Yet, from what you just said, it was the tipping point to shift your entire soul evolution into a direction of consciousness.
That you nailed it. I mean, yeah, the evolution of my soul and the tipping point. It's just like in this lifetime. Anyone who's gone through the school of hard knocks in this lifetime knows what I'm talking about. You reach rock bottom, and with a particular experience, whether you're a drug addict or whether you're a control freak or whether you are in a relationship and you are sabotaging that relationship with your own self-serving interests. I mean, you get to that point. There's so many people that have broken off from relationships and they think, what have I done? And then they go into deep depression because they had something so beautiful and they ruined it all. Just because of being stubborn about a particular point or issue or just something silly. And we've all experienced that energy, but just, I'm just now say take that and then magnify it onto a universal level. And it's a very powerful energetic charge. It changes you forever.
How has your relationship with your beautiful divine feminine partner, Cynthia, helped to bring you through your own shadowland?
I can't understate the difference it's made. It's worked in two ways for me, probably more that I'm not aware of. But the two main areas it's worked in for me is it helped to confirm, because of the feedback I got from her, of the man that I'd become, as in
yes,
that I'd gone through, and the appreciation of the respect that I have for her, and the acknowledgement of the man, a man of honour that I'd become. And on another level, it's helped me to continue to identify within myself the areas that need addressing, because in order to truly honour the family and reinstate her in her rightful place, which every man needs to do, I feel, it's so important to do that in all of our relationships and reinstate our woman, our beloveds, as queen of the earth, because every woman embodies that, is to honour her and to respect her in ways we've never done before, in ways we never thought possible. And I'm learning and remembering the Knight's Code and trying to live by the true meaning of the word chivalry and the Knight's Code. And we as men need to step up to that plate and live by that code. We've forgotten.
Well, I know all of us here at Shadowland Voyagers so appreciate your understanding of that. And also to hear you say that it has been a powerful transmuting agent. What I think I'm hearing is that it has something to do with the transmutation of your ego. In honoring her in that way, there's actual alchemy that's occurring in you that's allowing an evolutionary process that even though you had super mega awareness, that process has been initiated by this relationship. Or maybe amplified. I don't know how you would say that.
I love your language, Sienna Lee. It is so beautifully put, and it has enabled me to surrender the male dominant warrior ego, and it's also enabled the insecure and fragile aspect of the male ego to step up to the plate and be a true warrior without being the arrogant male warrior, if you know what I mean. It's worked in both directions. It's not just the warrior, big tough guy side. It's also the frail and feeble and timid side that also gets stimulated into becoming more of a man and living by the Knight's Code, meaning not to go around beating people up physically, energetically, verbally, anything like that. It doesn't mean that. The Knight's Code is not about that. The Knight's Code is about being a balanced male who's in tune with his feminine side, his masculine side, and living by an honourable and balanced masculine energy.
Well, that's so beautiful to hear you say that. And what I get from that is that in a way, there's a death of this egoic, shadow, dominating, patriarchal maleness that can only be alchemized and reconfigured and born anew through loving the divine feminine.
That's the only way to do it properly. There is no other way. That's the organic way. And if anyone thinks they can do it in another way, then they are deluding themselves, because it's their ego still hasn't the capacity to cope with the power of the energy we call grace, which is what the feminine is. It's so powerful. That's why woman has the power of creation. And until we as men can understand the power of that energy and not be threatened by it, because so many men feel threatened by that energy, we need to embrace that, because we all have that internally. And as long as men live in denial of that energy or in fear of it or feel threatened by it in whatever way, shape or form those threats come in, then you will forever remain internally divided.
Well, one of the many beautiful things about you, George, is that you truly have that desire to transmute that archaic old way, that you, first of all, were willing to look at it in yourself, to recognize fully that you are that, and to assume whatever karma or aspect. I think this is the horror of any of us perpetrators, and I was on the dark side. I was a perpetrator, and I think this is what is so scary for the ones now that are holding on for dear life. There's the judgment, the moment of reckoning, and they will do anything to avoid facing themselves. And yet you, modeling as a new kind of man, are saying, no, see the darkness and then use it as the fuel and surrender it in love and birth this new man, which is a completely, there's so much knee-jerk reaction against this that it is so wonderful that you're stepping forward to say this. I think I think there is still a lot of resistance in men to this. But maybe more men are opening to it. You said you would just come from a round table with men. What is your experience about men receiving this message from you now, George?
Yeah, there's a lot of men who still have great difficulty in coming to terms with this reality. But there's also incredible amount of men who are beginning to understand and embrace the change within themselves. It's a beautiful thing. And I want to share this because I know there's a lot of women out there who just don't see it in the world around them and think that they're few and far between. But I've got to share with you, our numbers are growing and we're moving because we're having a symbiotic relationship with our Earth Mother and the Divine Feminine. And there are those of us who are moving with her. Look, there's other men out there who are very timid and very feeble, and they're unbalanced in the other direction. And
yes,
they
yeah,
are starting to, and that's what I was alluding to within myself. Them too are now starting to find that place of standing strong and defending the feminine within themselves and defending their feminine partners in a way that's done in a respectful manner without lashing out with violence or, trying to be something that they're not, pretending to be the big tough guy, the small man syndrome, so to speak. And that small man syndrome, believe me, can be in someone who's 7 foot tall. So I don't just mean it for small physical stature. And so we as men are learning how to be men again.
Beautiful, George. We'll be right back after the break. This is Shadowland Voyagers with George Kavassilas.
adventure, you will be confronted.
This is the Truth Frequency Radio Network.
Welcome back, Shadowland Voyagers. Your experience, perception, and questions are deeply appreciated here. Join the conversation. Call in at 213-233-3998 or 888-832-2027.
Welcome back, Shadowland Voyagers. Welcome back, everyone. And George, I want to thank you for a great first hour. I really honor your vulnerability in speaking about your own shadow and the deep vulnerability of how you're transmuting the aspects of you that have been a dominator through the love of the divine feminine with your partner, Cynthia. That's a hugely brave thing to do in front of the whole world, and I am very grateful that you are doing that.
Yeah, well, I know the more we go into these high frequencies, the more transparent we become. And so it is time just to be authentic and nothing but.
Wow. And you were talking before the break. We only have 5 minutes here, and then we come back for the next hour. But you were talking about this sort of the wimpy male syndrome. I think that the men have been trying to compensate, well, for many, many, many reasons, this inadequate, insecure. And I can speak as a woman that for us to be able to transmute our shadow aspects, we deeply need men to step up with their real male essence, bold and loving at the same time. I think it's the only way we're going to surrender all of the woundedness and that we carry, which is enormous from all these years of patriarchy.
Yeah, I agree. There's a magic formula there for us men to discover, and that is to know how to be strong, how to be assertive and stand in our power when we need to, without throwing tantrums, without resorting to violence, without resorting to methods of control, manipulation. There is a magic formula, and it's not unreachable. It actually resides in each and every one of us. We all embody the divine masculine. So what we need to do is understand that we all embody also the archetype of the sun. Every woman embodies the archetype of the feminine. So one can know that about each other. That's when we get into the real deep stuff that we are made of.
We'll be right back. Thank you, George. We'll be right back. We have a short break. Stay with us. Shadowland Voyagers. We're here tonight with George Kavassilas. One day I'll get this cue right, but I might be in 5D by the time that happens. Okay, George.
Yes.
Hey, do you happen to have the Knight's Code handy? You have it tattooed to your wrist yet? I was thinking we could maybe close this bowl with that. I would love to do a whole huge more on this, but we have some other topics. We're so close to December 21st, and I want to cover some of the 4D manipulations and the chakra systems and the false love and lighters, and because I feel that's such an important message to get out there at this moment. But I would love to close this with the Knight's Code, if you have that handy.
Yes, I do. Okay.
Would that work for you? Or anything else, if you have anything more on this that you feel called to express, please do.
Yeah, I feel if whoever listened to what I just said, I advise that you listen to it again and really feel into it, because there was a lot of multidimensional expression going on there, and sometimes a one-pass listen doesn't do it. So I recommend that. I would also be honoured to read out this code from I would have to say a female knight, a woman warrior goddess, as you are, Sienna Lee, and Elizabeth and Christina, and my beautiful wife, Cynthia. You are incredible woman and very brave indeed. So I just want to read this Knight's Code out. The Knight's Code. A universal call is made to activate all the real men who remember and are willing to live by the Knight's Code. You are now hereby being called to action. It is time for battle, or there will be nothing left to battle for. As you take on your armour, your shield and your sword, do you have the memory and the courage to activate yourself and bring forth a living, breathing knight into this new millennium? Do you have the wisdom, the will, the strength, the valour and the power it takes to be a knight and live by the Knight's Code from this day forth until the moment of your last breath? O great and valiant knights of the earth, come forth now and be counted. The time has finally come. You know who you are. Wake up, arise, let your destiny begin. O great, honourable and noble knights of this world, step out of your hate, your anger and the pains of the past. Step out of your corporate worlds and the hunger for useless power. Put on your armour of honour, pick up your shield of love and your mighty sword of truth. Be living proof that the chivalry and valour are alive and unyielding. Do you have the strength, the courage, the wisdom, the ancient encoded memories and the passion it takes to be a millennial knight?
Oh, God. Have we ascended yet? That's so beautiful. Thank you so much.
To really understand what it means to be men again, and because we've lost our way, and once we can reconnect with the divine masculine and understand what needs to be done in the near future, because it doesn't mean you need to be this way forever. We need to step up to the plate for now, take on our responsibilities as men, and clean up this reality in conjunction with our divine feminine. It's up to all of us to do it together, and we men need to play our role and understand what we're responsible for. That's what we need to do.
Oh, hallelujah. That sort of leaves me speechless. But I want to jump into it. I would love to come back to this and sculpt going deeper into many aspects of the divine feminine and the masculine, the healing alchemy, and break it down. But because we are so close to December 21st, I feel a responsibility to speak about the fourth dimension. As we approach December 21st, you've warned us that many 4D conduits are entities that get their hooks into people, harvesting souls, especially into those who are focusing exclusively on the love and light side of themselves. Can you speak about this, about the chakra system, about the situation? What can you say to those people now to help them wake up from that deception? How can we recognize this aspect of ourselves?
Yeah. Before I take this any further, I want to thank Laura Lee for the Knight's Code, the wording, and that she's brought forth. So thank you, Laura Lee, from the days of old into the present. I really appreciate that. Also, I want to say, as far as the 4D deception goes, okay, time to get into that mode.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's good. We need
needs
to do
to
this.
happen. Yeah.
Absolutely. Look, the first question anybody should be asking themselves, I feel, is this: do you exist beyond the chakra system? Ask yourself that. The other question to ask yourself is, do you exist beyond Kundalini? Tough question. But do you? Do you exist beyond that energy? Because when you do start asking these questions, the answer must be and has to be yes. Because if it's no, then you are locked into a belief system that you can't see past those programs. That's the reality. So when you realize that you exist beyond those energetic programs, then you go, okay, so if I exist beyond, where is that part of me? How do I access it? What's going on there? You begin to realize that there's just a single core energetic center in the center of your humanness. It resides physically around the center of our chest and is in the core. It's our core energetic center. And when we bypass everything else and go there and access ourselves there and access the knowledge there in our core, that is the true third eye. The third eye, the third aspect of our being, the transpersonal self, the part of us that knows all and sees all. The true third eye, our true eye of God, is our heart core center. The third eye is not in the head, in the mental constructs and the mental paradigm. That is, the pineal gland is not the third eye. The pineal gland is an implant that is designed to calibrate you into universal paradigms created by a God who's pretending to be God, the creator of this universe. That is shocking to many to hear, just as the chakra system is a program of control. Just as Kundalini is a serpent symbiote. Tough languaging, I know. Reality hurts when you live a lie. So really think about what I have just said, because you're going to want to switch off now if you have invested yourself into those programs. There are many of us who are riding this new wave of energy, this new level of consciousness that is rising within us, that is emanating now from the depths of this reality. We're turning inside out and we're riding this new wave. And we know we exist beyond chakra systems, beyond Kundalini energies, beyond the need for pineal glands to attain knowledge. We know we are connected to the organic consciousness and energies of life. And we are now moving beyond the New Age paradigm and all its teachings, all its programs, all its doctrines, meditation practices, because that's what they are. They are meditation practices governed by doctrine. They're not organic. They are programs that have been created by very clever and sophisticated beings calling themselves ascended masters and angels and deities. So are we going to be authentic? Let me pose this challenge to you. Are you going to be authentic? Or you still want to live under the guise of a program which is convincing you that that is your authentic self? Which obviously it's not, because unless you do those practices and live by those doctrines, you can't access the knowledge that they offer you. So you're not being authentic. You are still living under the auspice of a program, under the auspice of a doctrine. And it's amazing in my journey how many people I have experienced who have invested so much of themselves in these programs. They are defending chakras and kundalini and pineal glands, and they are defending them like religious zealots. Because I get emails from these people, very angry people, very rude people, very hurt people, and you just feel the pain in their words because they can't bear, they can't fathom that they have been duped once again from a dogmatic religion into a more sophisticated religion.
And it's all because they've had an altered experience, and they want to hold on to that as a dogma.
They certainly do. They don't realise that this universe is so multidimensional that even the other dimensions they experience through their doctrines are still contained within a much lower area of the universe.
Now, I recently, I think I shared this with you actually, but I had a dream about being in the fourth dimension. And I'm bringing this up again because I want to talk about, as we start awakening to our understandings on, in this plane and the third dimensional plane, I've had experience where I'm waking up to my fourth dimensional aspect, and also the higher self has met me there during dream time, and I had this dream that I found myself in this holographic reality that was created, and apparently it was a special one because they had inserted special programming that is unique to being in the third dimension on planet Earth. Certain conflicts and things like that we go through that seem insane in other places, in other realms. But they wanted to create this made-up conflict and entered certain kinds of thought forms and stuff like that. And so I'm in this holographic reality, and the whole time I was laughing. I knew I was in a fake place. And so I got pulled out. And, the third dimensional mind was kind of a bystander while the higher self kind of went into conversation with these people in the fourth dimension, and they were really proud of what they'd done, and they wanted feedback and that kind of thing. And higher self kind of went into this, this is an unloving thing to do, to bring third dimensional dreamers into this holographic reality kind of a thing, and why it was unloving, and because it wasn't agreed upon, basically, on some level. Now, in our interactions in the fourth dimension, we can have good interactions with the folks there, and also assist, that kind of thing. So I kind of want to touch on that too, not to be a devil's advocate, because the programs that are being run in the dogmatic programs and the religions and stuff like that that are filtrated into the third dimension are definitely life-sucking forces. But I kind of want to talk about how we are interfacing with the fourth dimension right now, if you have any words of wisdom on that.
Oh, absolutely. The majority of the population from Earth has come from the fourth dimension. There are some that have come from the third, others that have come from the second, and some even from the first, believe it or not. Very, very low level energies indeed. And I'm sure we've run into a few of those in our time. And
I think I just broke up with him.
What did you say, Sienna?
I said, I think I just broke up with him.
Oh, my goodness.
And so when, let's say I had my experience with Oh, I had many, but one of the experiences I had with my galactic family, and I was on board a ship, and there was, many races there, and you'd be surprised just how much energy is flowing out of this reality to all the contracts, all the races that we have out there. We are the way shower for many races, and all our experiences here are feeding back to races out there. So it's kind of like Big Brother. They can see in, but we can't see out. And we are living
That's
this
not
life.
all negative. That's not all negative, right? Some of them
Oh, no.
are.
No.
Are
The majority
right.
of life out there is on the level, They're beautiful races. They're us. They're our families, because we're leaving that paradigm. We're showing the way. So we've come from there, you see. The majority of the population on Earth comes from there. And we are here, and we have a lot of pain because we've left a lot of family behind to come to Earth. So that's a hidden pain that not many people talk about. And we have multiple energetic streams with races, not only our own direct genetic link, because we're incarnated as many races out there, so we've got those. We've also got races that we are affiliated with and we have energetic contracts with. So when you have an argument with someone, they belong to another race. And when you resolve that conflict between the two of you, what's being resolved out on a cosmic level is a conflict between two races. Because the energetic patterns of the initial charge of differentiation and now the process of transmutation and the resulting charges of harmony and synchronicity, all those codes get transmitted back out to the races, and they now understand what they have to do to resolve their conflicts, and they start heading their races towards those energetic patterns to resolve conflict out there.
That's so huge. And that's amazing, George. Tonight, for the first time in my life, I was just relaxing before the show, and I felt some kind of a chord for the first time in my life back to one of these families. And they were so excited we were going to have this conversation. And they were all gathering around like the TV screen, to see what we were going to be on about. I swear I've never ever. I went, what? I went, oh my God, he's right. This is happening. Yeah, just tonight I had that experience.
Wow, that's incredible. It is confirmation when you get these sorts of experiences, and
so loving. I felt like my family. I was going through some dark shadow places in the last few days, and I just felt like my family was there, and I couldn't where. And then I got that. Oh, I'm up to bat for them.
Awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, we'll be back. Thank you all. Stay with us.
Welcome back to Shadowland Voyagers. We've been talking about the fourth dimension and the chakra system with George Kavassilas. And I just wanted to share that recently I got curious about my chakras. I'd actually reintegrated them last year at some point. And anyways, I got curious to see, well, do I still have them? Are they gone? I mean, people say you can't live without them. But I'm alive. So I went in to see someone I know who does quantum biofeedback. And interestingly enough, 3 of my chakras did not appear at all. And like not even a tiny dot. And she took that to mean that I was either blocked in that area, would have physical illness, emotional blockages, some kind of, ill effects because of this. But the thing is, I feel better than I have. By every day, I just keep feeling more and more alive and more balanced. And so to me, it was a clear indicator that we are definitely moving away from the chakra system. In fact, the ones that were not there were areas that I have personally regained more of my authentic power and feel the most balanced. So I just want to share that with people. And also a lot of people are wanting to know how to remove the chakras, whereas to me it's more of an integration process where you embrace them and bring them in. But again, you're not going to get rid of them if for whatever reason you're not ready. They will naturally go away from my understanding.
Yeah, is that a cue for me, Christina?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, George, go ahead.
Yeah. I agree with you, Christina. There's people that just want to get rid of them because they heard us say that there are, portals of manipulation and what have you, and they are, ultimately. But even again, ultimately, beyond that, I think the greatest purpose that they're serving is providing all these programs of challenge for us to experience. So for me, when I got rid of my chakras, I did it with love and gratitude. And the way I felt when I was doing it was like saying goodbye to a relationship that was not serving me any longer. That I had accomplished everything I could with that relationship. And so I saw it because there's a consciousness behind the chakra systems. There's actually a living being there who's created these programs and who are feeding from these programs. And it's like, thank you, I'm done. And I've gained the wisdom I needed to gain, and I just appreciate it. And now I know it's time for me to move on. No different to an elderly person who knows that their life on this planet is done and it's time for them to lay down and pass over. It's that kind of feeling, like you're in a relationship with someone and you know that it's time, your time is done. The signs are there and it's time to let go and move on in life. And it's that kind of feeling. It's very deep and graceful. It's not done from an ego perspective. It's not done from a place of fear or concern or anything like that. I'm using languaging of in the past of their portals of manipulation. They keep you entrapped in the arena of the lower arena of the matrix of the universe, because they keep you. They're part of the cosmic matrix set up. Your cosmic ego resides in the chakra systems, and I use that languaging because all of that is true, but it's also identifying a lot of the negativity to do with chakras. So the ultimate thing is to understand that we have asked them to be there for us, to serve us. And we've now gotten to the point where we are ready to release ourselves from that program and move on. And that's the basic and authentic and organic way I feel to deal with chakras. And I got to the point where I just merged them all into a sphere of energy and embraced them into my heart and totally just transcended them and transmuted them. And then, because I didn't want to just get rid of them and take them away from me in a sense, because then anyone who's got a similar energetic signature to me, they can be used upon them. So for me, the chakras were mine. They belonged to me, and I had a very deep and intimate relationship with them for a very long period of time. And I needed to totally embrace. It's like when I talk about embracing your ego. So if you think of embracing your chakras as embracing your cosmic ego, like I talk about in my poem of embracing our earthly.
Hello?
Uh-oh.
We may have lost you. I don't think the Matrix wants us to be getting rid of our chakras tonight. George, we may have lost him. Now he can click back in and join the call, or we may have to get him back.
Yeah, let me try to get him back on.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you got to look at the timing of that one.
Yeah, I did mine the same way he did, was bring them into my heart, as opposed to trying to remove them, like get rid of these things. It was more of like, okay, let's bring these back, because I see it more as it's a prism, and the light is a hole, and then it fractures into the spectral colors. It's sort of like the chakra system. So I thought, okay, well, I'm just going to bring my light back into center, into my heart. So that's kind of the same process that I used as well.
There we go.
Hello?
We got you back.
Hey.
Yay.
Yeah.
Well,
Going.
Sorry about that.
That's
But you were
okay.
touching on something. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, it must have been something important I was saying again, because it does tend to happen at very critical points. And to understand how to transcend the chakras in the most wholesome and organic and complete way, the deepest way possible, that was very important information that was just shared.
Yeah. I really wanted to get that out. And also, and you touched on this, is embracing our cosmic ego, which is also, I think you also call that a traveling spirit. And just really I just feel this need that there's sort of a rejection of things having to do with the fourth dimension. And for me, I feel it's more about, again, just embracing and integrating as opposed to rejecting and continuing the fragmentation. So that was the point I really wanted to try and bring out.
Sure. Oh, the question to ask is, do ETs have egos? Well, of course they do. Come on. You know? Of course they do. They have their own races, their own cultures, their cultural philosophies. They have, of course they got egos. Come on. Let's be real. We get duped into this imaginary, deluded world that we're lowly humans and everyone else out there is perfect. And we're pathetic, lowly sinners. What a load of garbage, We have egos. They have egos. Once you get into the realm of the higher self is when you transcend what we refer to as ego, self-serving interests. So,
but it's not about getting
as
away from your ego, like running away from your ego and into your higher self, because that's the good part of you. We got to bring it all with us.
Yeah. Sorry, my wording probably wasn't appropriate just then. Thank you for pulling me up on that, Christina. It is about what you just said, embracing all of ourselves. The good, the bad, the ugly, and the magnificent. And extraterrestrials have egos. Of course they do. God entities have egos. That's why they're God entities soliciting worship of races of beings. Come on, people. Please see it for what it is.
That's it. Seeing it for what it is. Because once you are aware, then you can make a decision. You can be conscious about it.
Well, and that is the vision of Shadowland Voyagers. And to bring this all full circle, you were so bravely sharing your transmutation of your dark side, being a controller of huge paradigms, and owning it and facing it, and then bringing that energy into the core, because the shadow aspects, in my understanding, are the fuel to ignite the alchemy, to birth this deep core authentic being. And this is the part that people really need to get as well, because when we are running away from ourselves, we are so frightened of our own shadows. And this is why we're jumping into the false light and love thing. And we're so addicted. The ego wants to hold on to this image. We need it because we're afraid of the authenticity. We do carry the darkness and the light inside. So it seems like the trip switch is to own it all and to have it all grist for the mill. It's the jet fuel, I believe, to birth the ascension process, is that integration that you do very naturally and very joyously. But in truth, a large part of humanity is running from their shadow selves and owning the darker, the evil, the self-serving, the ugly, the not-so-nice aspect, and covering it up, having plastic surgery over it, doing everything we can to make it invisible.
Yeah, so well put, Sienna Lee. Wow, great wording.
So here we are on the precipice of this change, and it feels to me like it could be so much more of a change than it's going to be if we would all get this, and because this chakra addiction, this addiction to the false love and light, this this whole sort of pseudo-false event that, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of people all over the planet are about to initiate is so disheartening to me when it could be that we could be gathering in the way that we are here tonight, surfing the waves of authentic being and really building towards an organic process with our beloved Mother.
Yeah, and I'm going to get people to pay special attention to my wording right now because of what I'm going to say. At the moment on this planet, we have New Age luminaries who have thousands of followers, tens of thousands of followers, hundreds of thousands of followers. Some even have millions of followers. When you include gurus, when you include what have you. And listen to this languaging. They are the modern day priestly caste. Really think about what I've just said. We're talking about the modern day priestly caste who have been themselves recruited into more sophisticated programs by these God entities, who they themselves have masses of followings, who are they themselves, all these people, these thousands, these tens of thousands, 100,000, these millions of people are being recruited to do the bidding of these God entities. Hard language, I know. Reality and truth hurts, I know. Now, what they are being asked to do is to bring the light in. They are asked to bring God's light, universal light, source light. Interesting labels, aren't they?
Yeah, really.
What God? God's light. Which God? Okay, let's be skeptic. Let's be a true skeptic in the true sense of the word, what it means to be skeptic, because that's what I am. I ask questions. When someone says God's light, I go, okay, which God? Oh, they go, oh, the creator. Which creator? What did this being create? Oh, everything. Oh, is that right? You know, it's like ask the questions. Universal light. Okay, which universe are you referring to? Which universe does that light come from? You know, source light. Okay, what's the source of that light? Be careful of the languaging that these beings are using because they are all designed to gloss over something that does not have your best interest at heart. It's all about marketing. These are marketing campaigns because they're selling you something, because they want something from you. And what we've got to realize is that the only true light, organic light, the only true organic light that exists is in our core. That is the true organic light of life here in this universe. And so what we need to do is bring our light out. And what does that mean? It means being authentic. And what does that bring up? That brings up issues of worthiness. People have a problem shining their light because they've been pounded and programmed into believing that they are not worthy, that their light is not worthy, that they are lowly sinners. And what we've got going on is all these people, all these following their gurus and their leaders, and they're going out there to all these sacred sites on the planet. Well, they call them sacred sites, intersection of ley lines and what have you, because there's actually two grids going on, which I don't talk about yet, but I'll get into that point. You've got the organic grid and then you've got the false grid that's been overlaid. So there's ley lines and there's ley lines. And what the people are being guided to do is to go not to the organic places, but to the artificial places, because these priestly caste don't know where to find the organic ley lines because they don't have access to those vibrations. They can't see them, they can't identify them. But what they can identify is the synthetic light grid that has encaged our beloved Earth Mother for eons of time. And what they're going to do is to bring all this synthetic light in and give it whatever label you want, whatever label someone sold it to you as. They're going to bring it down through the crown chakra, and they're going to want to anchor it down into the grid here and reinforce that grid. Isn't it interesting, the timing of all these millions of people around the world who are going to be doing this, who are being encouraged to do this. It's like a coordinated effort globally of people that are being recruited to do this. Really think about what's being shared here. And the remedy to all of this, what Mother Earth needs now more than ever, is our organic light. It's for us to turn inside out. If you're going to go to one of these places, do something different. Don't bring the light down from an ascended master, an angel, a God's light, universal light, source light, whatever label they want to use. Bring your light out. You've got the whole universe within you. The kingdom of heaven is within, is it not? So why not bring your light out and share that with Mother Earth? Anchor that into this reality and see what happens.
So I just had a little epiphany, or another way of looking at something that just crossed my mind. It seems that the false light, or the gods of the false light, have their clutches in, all because, let me just say, I avoid looking at where I'm missing the mark in life in general. And that seems to be where they have their clutches in.
Yeah, it's like, that's very well said, Elizabeth. And it's like the greatest place for the darkness to hide. Where's that?
In the shadows.
In the light.
Oh, in the light.
Right? The greatest place that darkness has to hide is in the light, hidden in plain sight. And when people realise what has actually happened here on this planet, that this synthetic light is actually the darkness posing as light, and they're selling love for all it is worth, and they're using love against us. They're using love against humanity, and they are hell-bent on implementing their agenda. Well, what else can I say? I get very passionate about this subject because right at the end, when they have been torturing and brutalizing the divine feminine for such a long period of time, this is now in their minds, I'm just giving you from their perspective, they're moving in for the kill. They are selling a new future and a beautiful life and love and light and everything, but they're actually moving in for total dominance where there's no recovery for this planet or for humanity. That's what they want. They don't want to see a skerrick of, or a minuscule of hope for anyone or any threat to them, because that's what it comes down to. They are so frightened that they want to create systems of control that are so tight that no one has any ability or hope for uprise or change whatsoever from their agenda.
Yeah. No, I mean, we need to face it. We need to look it square in the face and go out around the world and radiate your light into the organic portals as you're being guided on this event. I mean, what would you say to people on December 21st? I mean, you did. This is the most we can do at this point, to awaken people, to play these shows, to send out this information, and to ourselves, to radiate our own light. And, of course, we do this by owning our own shadow aspects and not hiding and being authentic. And it's so much more of a joyous and beautiful and full embodied life to do this. I mean, you can hear it in you, George, as always have, but now as the love is growing in you, the fullness of your being is truly enchanting. And anyone with ears to hear can resonate with that. What can we say? We're almost out of time. This has just flown by. We would love to have you back in the future. Christina, Elizabeth, do you have anything? George, give out your information, your book, your new documentary. Tell us how to get in touch with all of the amazing things you're putting out.
Okay, the main website is ourjourneyhome.com.au, and there's the book-specific website, which is ouruniversaljourney.com.au, and there's a documentary that's just been released, and that is called Our Journey Home Movie, and that's ourjourneyhomemovie.com.au. So there's lots to have a look at, lots to consider. And if you really want to break this cosmic matrix and get into riding this new wave of knowledge and understanding and synchronicity of life, then really consider what's been shared with you here today. It is challenging. It challenged me through my life, continues to challenge me today. But you get to this point where you're really flowing in that great river of life. And I just wanted to say how much of an honour it was to be invited into this incredibly powerful circle of women. I feel your energies, and I'm in deep honour and respect for all of you and what you're doing here. It's truly been an honour to be a part of this. So thank you from my heart, and I know Cynthia feels the same way, because it's always a joint effort in everything that we do.
Thank you, George.
Thank you.
It's beautiful. It's wonderful to have you on the show as well.
Super love to Cynthia.
Yeah.
Super great things for that documentary. I can't wait to see what you have. And everybody, go out there and saturate yourself with George. And the false light will seem so superficial and flat that you'll be over it.
Oh, we're getting incredible feedback. We really are. There's so many people that are just breaking through those barriers, and they've never felt so free and sovereign in all their life. It's a beautiful thing.
Oh, it absolutely is.
Amen.
And I just want to thank you, George, because you have done such a great job of getting us to this place through identifying these beliefs and programs and the control structure. I just want to thank you so much. I wouldn't be where I am without you kind of coming forward and sharing your wisdom and knowledge.
Thank you, Christina. And thank you for all the help that we have received from you. We couldn't do this without you either, sister. Thank you.
Oh, thanks. It's a pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you, Sienna Lee.
It was an absolute pleasure to hang out with a guy that's so into the divine feminine. You made my weekend here, boy. Well, one day we'll get these breaks down. We really will. Anyone got a joke?
We got it. Well, our music's going to be starting, and we picked this song especially for you, George. So I hope you enjoy our closing song tonight. Thanks for coming on our show.
Thank you.
$93 million miles from the sun. People get ready, 'cause here it comes. It's a light, a beautiful light, over the horizon, into our eyes. Oh my, my, how beautiful. Oh my beautiful mother, she told me, son, in life you're gonna go far. If you do it right, you'll love where you are. Just know, wherever you go, you can always come home. 240,000 miles from the moon, we've come a long way to belong here, to share this view of the night, a glorious night. Over the horizon is another bright sky. Oh my, my, how beautiful. Oh my, irrefutable Father, he told me, son, sometimes it may seem dark, but the absence of the light is a necessary part. Just know you're never alone. You can always come back home. Slippery slope. There is always a hand that you can hold on to. Looking deeper through the telescope, you can see that your home's inside of you. Just know